Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
Hello, John Paul.
Hello, Leon.
Welcome back to Do It for the Vine, a Vine review and appreciation podcast.
Appreciating. It's lovely to be back.
It's great to be back. We never left, really.
No.
But it's been a whirlwind since the launch.
It sure has.
Lots has happened. People screaming for more content from us specifically.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, it's a bit full on. Like I knew that we were going to be successful, but this successful in this short period of time is something that I did not expect for us.
I feel like people can really fact check how successful we are, and they're going to be disappointed when they find out how actually successful we've been.
They are going to fact check now that you've brought their attention to it. We nearly
okay, sorry.
The main marker of success is that since we started this show, John Paul, they have announced the second coming of Vine.
That's right. That's right.
Byte. B-Y-T-E.
It's called Byte.
So Dom Hoffman, I believe his name is, the creator of Vine,
Sure.
announced it. And I can only assume that it was due to our work and our rebirth of Vine interest.
Yeah, of course.
That forced the hand on this one.
Yeah, Mr. Hoffman, future sponsor of the show. I'm very excited about what we're doing, so decided to flick the switch and relaunch the video looping service.
Yeah, if there's one person that I've been pissing off on Twitter, it's him.
Sure, definitely.
He gets tagged in most posts, and I'm sure he doesn't see them, but one day he will and he'll be like, who are these guys?
That poor guy.
We're the important guys, that's who we are.
Yep.
JP, since last recording, how many Vine compilations have you watched?
Oh, look, Leon, it'd be embarrassing to say.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, look, I spend most of my nights watching them. Needless to say, my data is through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
But look, it's all good fun. We have fun doing it, and that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it still doesn't feel like work just yet.
No.
It only feels like work when I get a bad compilation.
There are some stinkers out there. Yeah, for
there's a
sure.
number of those. Like, obviously, we talk about the cream of the crop here, the best Vines available.
Yep.
And it always surprises me how there are just really bad ones.
Well, you know what I'm really afraid of, Leon?
Yes.
That this new Byte service is going to get pushed back, and then eventually we're going to have to start talking about those bad Vines. And I'm afraid.
That would be a real shame.
It would be. But, I mean, every Vine is somebody's Vine, so maybe they're not all so bad once we take a closer look.
Every Vine is sacred. Look, I've always said that when you pull something apart to its smallest entity, you make it much more enjoyable for everybody.
I've never heard you say that. Okay.
I say it all the time, every day.
Great.
I'm constantly texting you that one message.
I just don't read them anymore.
Oh, that's fair. John Paul, as is our job here, it's time to discuss a Vine.
I can't wait.
Which Vine are we discussing today?
The Vine that we are discussing today is Wednesday, My Dudes. Known by other names, but the easiest way to find it is Wednesday, My Dudes. A very famous Vine, a classic in the Vine archives, for sure.
Yes. By a known Vine creator, Jimmy Here, who also now does the whole YouTube thing, I think, once Vine closed down. But John Paul, as is tradition, because I just can't think of any other way to enjoy a Vine, could you please paint me a word picture of It's Wednesday, My Dudes?
Leon, I can certainly try. Our Vine opens with a close-up of a single character standing in a well-lit bathroom with goggles on. He simply says to the camera, "It's Wednesday, my dudes." The scene then cuts to show a wide shot of the same character, revealing that he's wearing a rather tight-fitting Spider-Man costume. He then lets out a cathartic yell that sounds like a goat being slaughtered, but in a good way. And our Vine abruptly ends right there.
Touching, John Paul. Moving.
Oh, it's a masterpiece in Vine work.
It's
Vine work?
Vine work. What is that?
Yeah, that's great.
We did a rewatch together before the episode, and I didn't realize how high his yell goes.
You do definitely forget some of like the intricacies of these vines when you don't watch them for a while, and you sort of start off being like, oh, I remember that scream, and then it just goes up and up in pitch, and you start to get a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, I thought it was literally just a one note yell, just a straight yell the whole time. But it crescendos.
It does.
It just goes straight up in pitch, and I was like, Jesus.
And really brings you to a bit of an uncomfortable place. But I'm so glad that he did it.
Now, the questions that I have for Jimmy here, if he's listening, which I'm sure he is.
What else would he be doing?
I don't know, making YouTube videos. Was he wearing the goggles with his hair slicked back in the Spider-Man costume and just took that moment to create a Vine? Or did he get dressed up specifically for the Vine?
Look, I'm really going to hope that it's the latter, Leon. I don't like to believe that there is... well, look, I don't want to yuck any yums. I'm sure people like to dress up in sort of Spider-Man costumes and goggles and look in the mirror at themselves. I mean, yeah, who am I to judge?
I would be one of those people.
Sure.
If I had a Spider-Man costume. Actually, when I was a young boy, pre-Vine, PV as we refer to it in historical context.
That's right.
I had a Spider-Man outfit that I wore constantly, and my tangential story that goes with it, and I'm pretty sure tangential is still a word, is that my most vivid memory of wearing that Spider-Man costume was very similar to Jimmy here's. Is that I had a bird on my shoulder, someone's pet cockatiel, and there's no nothing when it comes to a Spider-Man costume, and those claws just dug into my young boy shoulders, and
oh dear,
it was uncomfortable.
Yes, no, it's not like the newer Spider-Man costumes that come out with those football padding to make you look really muscly, and it was really able to separate the weak from the strong. Back in the 90s.
It was so I'm assuming that Jimmy here's scream was pretty much what my internal being did that time, because I remember leaving, keeping the bird on my shoulder, because I was like, I'm having a great time, and inside I was like,
yeah. And you don't want to freak out with a wild animal so close to you.
No, I think a hand-raised wild cockatiel would really do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, if a bird gets literally within a meter of me, I start panicking.
Yeah, so I think we can just assume. I'm gonna assume he was just wearing the outfit.
Sure.
And he was because when you stroll by the mirror and you're like, actually, I look pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And for him,
and you make that sound. That's the sound that you make when you stroll past the mirror and realize how good you look. You just let out that scream.
That's why I'm constantly waking up the neighbors, because I walk past the mirror in the nighttime in my pajama shorts and I go, damn.
Great.
But is there anything else that you want to pick up on when it comes to It's Wednesday, my dudes?
No. I mean, I like the reveal. I like the fact that the Vine didn't start showing that he had the Spider-Man costume on. It sort of started with the close-up, showing his face, and you thought, hey, those goggles are too small. And then it quickly sort of jumped out to reveal that with those goggles, he had the Spider-Man costume on. And yeah, that scream is just something that stays with you.
It's haunting.
It's great.
I think a lot of Vines use close-up, but I feel like maybe a more common use of close-up is when they kind of start off wide and then zoom in at the end.
Yes,
so I like that he's gone the opposite way.
That's right. Yeah, it was thought through, and I like that in a Vine for sure.
Well thought out, Jimmy.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
John Paul, we have housekeeping to do now, because
great.
As I said, lots happened since the launch, and now.
Oh wait, do we want to rate it? from zero to vine.
That's
Is that what we're
definitely
doing?
what I was going to say.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
I hadn't forgotten about
I jumped
that
in ahead of you,
at all.
Leon. I
No,
do apologise.
No, I forgot. So yeah, I do. John Paul, let's rate it. From a scale of 1 to Vine being approximately 10 and 1 being the numeric value of 1, where would you rate Jimmy Here's It's Wednesday, My Dudes?
Yeah. Vine is roughly 10. Nobody's quite sure how close it is to 10. But look, I think that rising pitch at the end of the Vine really just brings it right up to. I'm gonna say 9.5 out of Vine for this one, because it's just it was thought through, and then that scream, just because I completely forgot about how long it went for, and like he takes up a decent amount of the 7 seconds with that scream.
Yeah. No, I'm going to. I'll agree with you on that rating. A 9.5, I think, is fitting. It's not the perfect Vine. I wasn't reduced to tears or anything, but yes, the shock realization that he screamed so high and so long gave me a good chortle.
Absolutely.
So it's worth the Vine rating that you've given it.
For sure.
Now, John Paul, people can now find us. I believe I lied about what was going to be available for our Twitter handle and our Facebook handle.
Good. I'm glad you did.
It was too many words, or someone already had it. Anyway.
Okay.
To find us on Twitter and on Facebook, which we have a Twitter and a Facebook page, you type in at For The Vine Pod, P-O-D, like podcast. So For The Vine Pod.
Sure.
I think if you type in Do It For The Vine on Facebook, you'll find it anyway, or Do It For The Vine Podcast. We've also got that YouTube that has clips on it that we upload the clips in a playlist so that you can watch them if you haven't seen them recently. You can also find that Do It For The Vine podcast.
They're worth the rewatch.
Oh, they're very worth a rewatch.
Yes.
And then we also now need to thank Curtis Fernance, who is an old friend of Tim's and a newer friend of mine. He created the wonderful theme music that you hear, that 8-bit stuff.
He did.
And it didn't take the bastard very long to make it either. He did it very quickly. And a huge thank you as well to Simon Blackburn for the cover art, our wacky Do It For The Vine cover art.
Beautiful cover art.
There is a dog barking at me.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
I'm not happy about this.
Yeah.
I've got the cat on one side of the door who's meowing at me, and I've got a dog barking at me.
It's a crazy time we live in.
With this cover art, John Paul, there is a figure sitting at the computer.
There is.
A purple monster man. And there's also a little ant creature, man. I don't know. It's not Ant-Man. It's not Marvel's Ant-Man.
Or it could be.
It could be. But they are in the cover art, and I think they need names.
Oh, yes. I think so too.
And I don't think we can call them JP and Leon, because then there'll be the argument of who gets to be the ant. So I think
that's right.
We need to go for names. If you, John Paul, if you had to come up with 2 names off the top of your head right now, what would you go for?
Derek and Strauss. Oh boy, they were real.
I'm assuming
was a flop.
Derek is the monster and Strauss is the ant.
Yep,
that's how I see it.
I didn't really think that through. I was just tossing 2 names out there.
I think
not even sure Strauss is a name.
I think one of them would be Richard, and one of them could be Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, okay.
Yeah, again, Richard for the monster, Wolfgang for the ant. But it doesn't matter what we think, John Paul, because what are we? We're just plebs that run a podcast.
No, that's right.
It matters what our fans think. So we're going to put out a poll. I will include our initial wonderful thoughts that we have had for names. But we will also open it up for you to give us names. And by God, do I beg you to give us some of your names, because we did not do well.
Yes. No, please don't make these monsters be called Strauss and Daryl. Well, Derek? Did I say Derek? I don't even know.
Yeah, it was Derek. It wasn't Daryl.
Oh, boy. Daryl's a little bit better.
Yes. I think that's everything.
Please do, yeah. I think so, yeah. So definitely jump on that YouTube playlist and have a rewatch of these Vines, because they are gems.
They'll tickle you right in your funny bone.
They will.
Which, please don't let us know about that, because this is a PG show.
Yes. Is it?
No,
oh, boy.
Definitely not.
Yeah, okay, good.
and make sure you subscribe to us and all the things. If you can, leave us a review on iTunes, or I think you can do it on Google Music. I think you can do it on Spotify. I don't know. Wherever you can leave us a review, please do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bree Weeks for already giving us a recommendation on Facebook. And I did forget, we should have given a shout out to Aidan Phelan, because he was the one who suggested we cover It's Wednesday, My Dudes.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks
Shout
team.
Out.
Thanks,
Thank
Viners.
you, everyone.
Good stuff. Well, John Paul, as we come to a close here, remember, wherever you are, whatever you do,
just do it for the Vine.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.